This is the instruction video for STM and EfficientFlow functionality in SEAiq Pilot. This version that I'm recording and making the instruction from is a test version. And some of the functions in the test version will not be available in the production version. So I will just skip them. In SEAiq Pilot, there is a menu system, so to speak. Now we are in the status pane. We can go to the AIS pane. We can go to routes pane, settings, a quick menu, and files. I will go back to the status pane. In the status pane, there are several things shown that can be minimized or maximized. It can be closed off, and you need to turn it on in the settings menu later on. What I will show here is the STM menu that says con means connected, SEAiq means schedule, and what speed that is used is now plan speed. We can also see what voyage plan has been received, and also if we would have sent one, we can see that in this menu. I will go to the settings menu by clicking settings or tapping on the iPad. In SEAiq Pilot, the settings or the things that are available in the menus can be somewhat user adjusted. So I will go to administration all the way down in the settings menu. There is something called customization and edit quick settings. I will activate this. Now a lot of no and quick shows up. So I will go to back. I will go to a submenu that is called routes and waypoints. Under routes and waypoints, there is something called plan speed that we'll talk about later as well. Here we can see that plan speed is enabled, and we can also see the Q, letter Q is marked. That means that this functionality, plan speed, is available in the quick menu. You go to the quick menu, and there we see plan speed is available. So that's how to add or to take away something from the quick menu. So I need to go back to, so to speak, the main settings menu, go all the way down to administration, and deactivate the edit quick settings. And we can see that the plan speed is now available in quick settings. It's a good way of reaching functions that are often used in an easy way. So I will, since I'm not on board a ship right now, I will virtually board a ship. Wilson Gdynia. I just double tap it and board the ship. The figures, now I have activated a function that is called auto loading or of route. And there is a route where this ship is, and SEAiq pilot is asking if I want to load that route, and I say yes. Here is that function. I go into settings menu, I'll go to routes and waypoints, and then auto active route. That one is activated. That's why this one asked if I wanted to share my route, or if I wanted to load that route for monitoring. In SEAiq pilot, that's called to follow a route. Now we're on the route menu. I can easily see which route I'm following by scrolling up or down the route library. Here is the route. I will click on that one. Right now we are in between waypoint with the name Svartgrund. The next waypoint is M43. I can see that by this sign here. As you can see on this route, there is something called segment. That's the leg between the waypoint. If I want to, I can put in speed limits here. So for example, I can put in a speed limit between M43 and Falsterbo-Rev. I do by clicking there, and I put, this ship is only doing 8 knots, so I put the speed limit of 3 knots and enter. Now you can see that the speed limit is 3 knots. In this SEAiq pilot, the route format inside the software itself is GPX, but the routes that are shared with other ships and other PPUs, PPU is a pilot portable unit similar to this SEAiq pilot. The format of that file format of that route is RTZ. Route in RTZ format will be built up on a series of waypoints and also a schedule. A schedule is something that tells others and maybe yourself when you plan to be at certain waypoints. And it can also say what kind of speeds you will be doing between, not what speed you will be doing on the different legs. Later on, when we check our own route or other ships' routes, I can show RTZ what it looks like. A route, RTZ route, might have several different statuses. One status is called active. An active route is a route that someone is following and using for navigation. An inactive route is a route that someone they have been using for navigation but are not using it for navigation anymore. The reason for those is that the statuses is, for example, if one ship has been using a route, there is no need for your system to calculate on that route if it's not followed anymore. I showed before how a route was automatically loaded. I will go in and just press stop here. That's how a route is unloaded. So it was this route. I choose the route and I press follow. Before we go more into the settings, this was more general regarding the route handling and the menus. I will show a bit more regarding EfficientFlow. What I'm showing here is a PPU, Swedish Pilot Portable Unit, which is connected to the ship on board via pilot plug transmitter. What I am showing in this instruction video is that I have virtually boarded the ship. This PPU is connected to internet in a way, a very secure way, by means of this VIS, a Voyage Information Service, and a SEASwim connector. The PPU is sharing a route with a service that is called EfficientFlow Hub Service. Later on during this instruction video, I will virtually board another ship with another PPU, so I will also be sharing a route with this EfficientFlow Hub Service. What this EfficientFlow Hub Service is doing is that it's distributing routes from a PPU to other users in this domain or system. The hub service is also connected to the AIS system in order to see if a ship is within the EfficientFlow coverage area or not, and what speed the ship is doing, to be able to automatically put a ship's route in inactive status if the ship is driving too slow, or not driving too slow, but if the speed is below 0.2 knots for 5 minutes, then the hub service is judging the situation to that the ship is not following the route anymore. And this is just as an extra precaution if a ship has, for example, come alongside and has not unloaded its route from monitoring. Or, as I showed before, press this stop in SEAiq Pilot. This ETA ES means ETA Information Service, so the ship's routes are also distributed to this service, which is a service that is available if you have a login on internet, where you can see when the ships plan to be at certain locations, predefined certain locations. So we go back to the SEAiq Pilot again. I press back. I go to the settings menu. Here under the pilot sub-menu there is something called STM, Sea Traffic Management. Here I can switch on or off STM functionality, then no routes will be received or sent away. But I will choose to mark this one. We come into the sub-menu. On the top of that one, there is a link to the website of STM Validation, where you can find more information regarding STM. There is something called STM account. If you press here, you switch off STM in SEAiq Pilot. If I press here, I will come into where I need to put my credentials to be able to share my routes and receive routes. Under the next gray banner that is says voice plan, you have a choice to share your voice plan or not. If this one is turned on, you will share your voyage plan with EfficientFlow Hub Service that will distribute your route to others within the EfficientFlow project. And who is in that project? Yeah, it will be the pilots in Turku and the pilots in Stockholm and the ferries using the fairways in Stockholm and Turku. So if I'm now sharing my route, then I will, if I press this one, deactivate, this one was stopped sharing the route, and your route will be shared in status 8 to all others. That means that all others should stop using your route for any kind of calculations. I will turn this one on again. So now I will, on my other PPU, board a ship called Viking, which is recently somewhere close to the Drogden lighthouse. So now I have virtually boarded Viking. They are, I will zoom out. They are in the Drogden channel right now. As you can see now, there is a tag or a sign between Viking that says just the name. In a while, when this Viking's route will be available, it will appear STM here. So then you can see that this ship can share its route. I will go back to the menu again. Here you can see show all voyage plan. If I activate this one, zoom out a bit, you can see a red thin dotted line. So this is Viking's route. If there would be other ships sharing the route, those will also be visible here, but you can't choose one or the other. All will be shown in this way by using show all voyage plan. I will deactivate that one. I will go to Viking again. When I click on the target Viking, the Viking route is shown again. If I click somewhere else in the chart, it's disappeared. If I go in under other plans here, it means other ships' plans. I can see Viking's route, or I can see the ship's name. I click there. Here is some information. We don't need to go into detail on. I can press show here. Now it will be shown until I go in on Viking again and press hide. So there is a couple of ways of showing other ships' routes. I will, for the time being, choose this one to be on the mode show, so we see their route all the time. Own ship plan. What we can see here, we are late 3, 4, 5 seconds, or also in meters. There's something called plan speed of ground there. I will switch that one off for now. This one should eventually change to the present speed that we are doing. As you can see, there is an arrow on the side. Now it's changed to 8.4. There's an arrow on the side, means that there is something more behind it. So I click this one. Here I can see the name of the route, what ship I have been boarded, the name of my PPU, portable pilot unit. It's an active route that I'm sharing. And here I can show the RTZ file that I was talking about before. There is a route info in the beginning, and then there is a couple of waypoints, and here is the schedule that says when we will be at those different waypoints. As you might see, here is a speed 8.4 knots. Here is a speed that is set to be 3 knots. If you remember, we put in a speed limit of 3 knots on one of the legs. That is shown here. In SEAiq Pilot, there is a function called plan speed. If I know that I will be, for example, doing 8 knots on this leg, we already put the speed limit on one leg, and the rest of the route there were no speed limits. Between M43 and fastboard rev, we have said we should make 3 knots, and the rest of the route there is no speed limits. But I know that after this speed limit, after fastboard rev, we will be able to make 12 knots. Then I will go to the quick menu where I have put the plan speed functionality as I showed before. I will activate that one. As you might have seen, a slider was added to the bottom of the display. On this one you can slide the speed to whatever, but we put it on 12 knots. I go back to settings. I'm still inside the sea traffic management settings menu. You can see it says plan speed over ground. I will go down and show you the RTZ, and that is what we are sharing with others. We have the waypoints with numbers, radius, cross-track distance, and so on. And here it says that we are calculating to make 12 knots. Now it says 12.2, but this was not the latest one. From the other ship's point of view, from Viking, that is right here, right now, that one, they are using our present speed over ground, 8.3 knots, until the next waypoint, which is here. From there to the next waypoint, we put a speed limit of 3 knots, so there they are using 3 knots. And from there on, 12 knots. So on our present leg, our present speed over ground. The upcoming legs, either the planned speed over ground or the speed limit, if the speed limit is lower than the planned speed. And you might ask, for what are they using our speed? We'll come to that later. It has to do with the meeting points. So I will go in on other plans again. I can see here that there is 2 active routes. Amorella is sharing their route, and also Viking, which we can see here. Amorella is not in this area, so we will not see the route. One ship called Livland came into Halstavik this morning. Then they shared the route. Now it's in inactive status 8. Viking Cinderella has also shared their route before, but that is now set to inactive, so it's not used for any calculations. So that's about share voyage plan, show all voyage plans, ownership plan, and other plans. Text messages is empty right now.
Mantica inbound from Sandhamn to Stockholm. I have also boarded Gabriella on my other PPU. We'll zoom out, mark Gabriella, so we can see her route. In this small section, I want to show the meeting points. In the settings menu, which we reach by clicking on settings, we can find something called meeting points. Here we can see it's activated, but if you click just here, you can also activate, deactivate. You can get some lines. You saw the yellow lines are disappearing or turning on. This is how far away your system should look for ships from your route. There is two types of meeting points. It's those kind with arrows pointing opposite or against each other, opposite or in the same direction, which means overtaking. Those meeting points are only calculated on own route, own speed, and other ships' present actual speed, not taking the other ship's route into consideration. So there is a difference between those meeting points. This one, for example, it says Chambolle. That means that a meeting will take place with Chambolle if Chambolle is traveling opposite direction of your route. If you know that, then you might expect that you will meet here, and that they are driving the same, what speed they are driving right now. So those ones that are not across, either point in the same direction or opposite direction, they are not based on the other ship's route. To show those kind of meeting points, you need to turn this one on. And this is how far away from the route that it should check. So that's how you turn them on, the meeting points. I will go back to the STM menu. And as we can see, Gabriella is coming up from here, and Romantica is down here. According to this, according to this, Gabriella is coming ahead of us. Right now they have increased their speed from 10 knots to 12 knots. What we can do is either take the meeting point and drag the meeting point, to tell us what speed we should make for that to happen there. I will not use the mouse pointer for that, I will use the finger instead. So according to this one, it will be a very close call who will be first this crossing. I can also grab Gabriella and you see that she is traveling along her route. As we can see here, Gabriella is coming here, making Gabriella is making switch off the sticky mode. Gabriella in 30 knots and Romantica and slow down to 8 knots. To let Gabriella pass ahead, of course. And right now I have also not any of those ships are actually boarded, but I have boarded Beacon Grace, which is outbound. On my other PPU, I have boarded Gabriella, so we should be able to see her route shortly. Gabriella's route is still inactive. I just boarded it on my other PPU. So, as I said, I boarded Beacon Grace, which is outbound. So meanwhile that we are waiting for Gabriella's route to become active, here we can see a meeting point where it says Silja Serenade. That meeting point is calculated on Beacon Grace route only, not using Silja Serenade's route at all. That can be seen by how the meeting point looks like. So, and it's also calculated only on the present speed that Silja Serenade is doing right now. We can also see that it calculates that we will meet Baltic Queen a little bit further out, and Gabriella just after we have met Baltic Queen. I will now click on this meeting point. If I don't want to meet right here, I click on it and then I drag it. I will do it again, click on it. So I want to meet here, then if I want to meet here where the two ships are, I should slow down to 10 knots. If I want to meet down here, I should slow down to 8 knots, average speed until this location. What we can also see here is a difference. Here, this meeting point is calculated on Gabriella's route that I'm sharing from our other PPU. This one is only calculated on my route, and that Gabriella will follow my route but in the opposite direction. Now I will show the text message functionality. The VTS have sent out a text message. I can see that here it says one message. If I go to the main menu, I will also see here, or the status pane, I will also see that some text has been received. Go to settings, I go to text messages. Here there is a message that came from VTS Stockholm. It's just a test. It's a text stated, swell free passage wanted, please adjust speed for lowest swell. I look on this message, I can see who wrote it, from where it comes, when it was created, and how long it will be valid. If the validity period or the valid period is set to a specific date and time, the area will disappear by itself. And there is a subject and a body. Here there is an area attached to this text message. I click on the polygon, then I can click on the, it says 5 points. Then it will be shown in the SEAiq pilot where this area is. So now I will be sending another text message. Now the text message is sent. It says here that the text message has been received. There you can see one message from VTS Stockholm. It is a body, Lighthouse Remma Grund is unlit. Now it's no area connected to this or attached to this text message, but it is a position. So I can press this one and it's automatically panned to where this position is located. Then we come to the manage field. Here you have status and diagnostics. You can press that one, see some other diagnostics, errors and message logs. There is one function called update. If you press update, you will search for new messages and also send your own messages without waiting for any specific time to occur. Then this erase data function should not be used normally. If you need to use it and you press erase, all the STM data will be removed. Now you saw that messages disappeared from here. Other plans also disappeared. What doesn't disappear is those credentials, and that's good to know. If for some reason you know that you are sending your messages but they are not forwarded, you can go into this one and report, make a report and see if everything is up and running.
So in configuration field, there is something called max time deviation, which sets the maximum deviation from scheduled time. Targets exceeding this are flagged. When own ship exceeds this deviation, an updated voyage plan will be sent. Then we have max speed deviation that sets the maximum deviation from scheduled speed. The default is 1 knot. Targets exceeding this are flagged. When own ships exceeds this deviation, an updated voyage plan will be sent. And we have max position deviation, which sets the maximum deviation along the route, not beside it, from scheduled position. Targets exceeding these are flagged. In order to determine if threshold is exceeded, the planned position along the route for the current time is compared with the current position along the route. Note that the distance corresponds to the relative position along the route. The maximum distance from the route is limited by settings, meeting points, and threshold distance. So now I'll show how a little bit more about meeting points. Go to settings, go to meeting points. I have activated this functionality, passing restriction alarm. That means that if a meeting point is calculated to take place, or a meeting is calculated to take place on a specific leg in my route that this PPU is sharing, we will get a notification. I've also set this small vessel length to 50 meters, so you can see the difference between color on meeting points, depending on how big the ship is that you're going to meet. So I will virtually board this ship. Essence. I will choose another route that is called this one. I will choose to follow it. You can
One new restricted meeting point.
There we got this alarm. If you press OK here, it will still, this functionality will meeting alarm will still be active. If I press disable, I will turn this types of alarm or notification off. So I would press OK here. What happened now was that meeting point is calculated to take place. You can see where the meeting point is. So it's calculated to take place here in Viking days. And this leg is between Oksupet 8 knots sloop and Tunningud. As you can see here, there is a passing restriction. Then passing restricted is activated. So then you will get the notifications without having to scan the whole route. Of course, this depends on where you have the waypoints. You can also put in a waypoint where you maybe where you not change your route or your course, but for example, if there is a stretch or a narrow sound where you don't want to meet another ship. We can zoom out, and here we have several green meeting points, and then they are calculated in my ship, my route, the other ship's speed. It's a normal meeting point, and as you can see, they are green because those ships or boats are less than 50 meters of length.